Hey everyone, happy Friday. Here out in the middle of the woods, gonna go and try and make some cool math videos for you. I'm carrying a whole bunch of different equipment here to see if I can't try to make some math concepts come to life for you while you're home on quarantine time. So let me show you what we're looking against here. Very pretty out here and no one else around, so hopefully we can get some good footage. Alright, welcome back. Still hiking up the trail here, trying to carry all this goodies at one shot here. I'll give you a little bit of the view of what we're going through here. So if I fall in, we can all laugh. Alright, so far so good. Now just up the mountain. Whew. Those TV shows make this look so easy. Well, hello everyone. So I got to where I wanted to get. This area is called Bald Rock. It's in Berry Creek, California. And way out there is Oroville. And this is my attempt at social distancing. And hopefully out here we'll be able to find some examples of proportions, examples of Pythagorean's theorem, and trying to work with slope as well. So I've got a whole bunch of equipment with me, and I'm gonna scout around and see what we can find to create some fun lessons for you guys to watch at home, and maybe you'll get inspired and try to find stuff at home as well, and see if you can't make your own little videos and send them back to me and try to get some extra credit for them, alright? So I'm gonna start scouting around and figure out what we're gonna do first. Alright, I figured we'd start off now showing what we brought up here, or we being me, just to verify. Here we are. Do a little panorama shot. Beautiful weather out. Figured I'd try to take advantage of this before it starts raining for the next few days. So now let's talk about what I brought. Two different tripods, one with the mounted camera, one with the camcorder attachment. My paper, pencil, a laptop, a couple of seat clamps, 100-foot tape measure, two 25-footers, a level screw, and a Phillips head screwdriver, some tape. Brought my lunch with me. Got a couple of hot dogs and some relish and buffalo ranch sauce, and a tin can and some lighter cubes so I can cook my own fire out here, or start my own fire and cook my own food. Water, some coffee, protein powder of course, and then a 4-foot level, and then a right angle, that's another 4-footer, and then taped on top of both of those is another ruler that slides open like a protractor, so I can try to find angles as well. So that's what we got here. Alright, so my idea is to stand in the shadow of this big tree behind me here, and I'm going to stand at a point where my head touches the tip of the shadow, and then I'm going to find out the distance from my feet to the end of the shadow, and then I'm going to find out the distance from the base of the tree to the end of the shadow as well, and then write down those numbers and see what we get. this point, that's at the very tip of the shadow, and my tape measure right next to it reads 23 feet 7 inches from the base of the tree, and this reads 6 feet 4 inches from where I'm standing to where my shadow hits the ground in relation to that. Now, as time's moving here, I'm having to make a little adjustment here because the sun's obviously changing position with every second. So that's what we've got. We've got 6'4" to 6 foot, and over here we got 23 feet 7 inches. So try setting up a proportion and see what you get. I'm going to go and pause the camera. I'm going to set up the proportion on paper, and then we'll compare and see what we get. So here's my drawing that I came up with to try to represent the situation we had. So I had me and the tree, and there's the sunshine up in the corner, not to be confused with the coronavirus. It shines down its light and casts a shadow. This line down here represents the shadow. So I'm trying not to knock over my tripod here. So here's the shadow of me, and here's the shadow of the tree. So now, the heights we had, if I am 6 feet tall, which shoes maybe it's 6'1", but we're going to use 6 feet. And we do not know how tall the tree is, but the distance from my shadow to the tip here, or that's how long my shadow was, that was 6 feet 4 inches. The length of the tree's shadow was 23 feet 7 inches. So now, how many inches are in a foot? 12 inches equals 1 foot. So now I need to turn all of these values into just inches. Alright, here's what I got. The camera's picking it up. 6 feet is 72 inches, so 6'4" is 76 inches, and 23 feet was 276 inches, plus 7 to get 283 inches. So now we need to set up our proportion. On the top, I'm going to set up object, over shadow. And over here, I'm going to put me, and then tree. So how tall am I in inches compared to how long was the shadow of me in inches? Tree, how tall was it? We don't know. But we do have a measurement for its shadow in inches. So substitute these values into these 3 spaces. Doing so, I got 72 over 76 equals the unknown x over 283. So now to solve proportions, we multiply diagonally the values that we have available, and then we get the product of those two. So that's the answer to a multiplication problem, and then we divide by our third term. So I'm going to set up 72 times 283 and divide that answer by 76. To have it look like that. 72 times 283 divided by 76 equals x. So now I need to find out how many times does 76 go into 20,376. Showing it right here. So now what does that work out to as a decimal? So I'm going to have 268.1. Now that is our answer in inches. That's how tall the tree is in inches. So now, what is 268.1 divided into feet? For that, I got 22 and 1/3, roughly. So here I got 22 and 1/3 feet, and 1/3 of a foot. Remembering that 1 foot equals 12 inches. What's 1/3 of 12? Should be 4. So our answer is approximately 22 feet and 4 inches. Now, there's a little bit of round off error in there, so give or take an inch, let's just say. So there's our first problem out here. Next, I want you to try to figure out, let's see if I can get it all on film here. Bonus question, how far was it from the tip of the tree to the tip of the shadow it cast at that moment? So think about Pythagorean theorem, and we'll assume that the tree hits the ground at a right angle. Here's the next tree we're going to try. Same process. So there's the bottom of the shadow, and there's the top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and set up and see what measurements I can get. taking longer with this one. So much stuff on the ground. So 60 inches for my shadow. And 21 feet, 6 inches for the tree shadow. So what I'd like you to do is find the height of the tree. And then once you find the height of the tree, I want you to find the distance from the tip of that tree all the way to where its shadow is being cast right now. So again, I'm 6 foot. My shadow was 5 feet. And the distance from the base of the tree out was 21 feet, 6 inches. See if I can get these birds on camera. Hello. The next thing I'd like to try to show you is how to calculate slope from a couple of rulers. Welcome back. On this next clip, I'd like to try to show you how to calculate slope using a right angle, a couple of levels, a couple of C-clamps, and a bunch of rocks. Here's what we're looking at. Up here, people have made a little cave underneath this giant boulder. So now, I want to try to calculate what is the slope of this opening. And as you can see, this isn't an easy task. It's windy up here. So give me a moment and I'll set it back up. So I'm back. I've got level. I got more wind coming in. But what I'm trying to do is find out what is the angle of this roof line. What is the slope? And so I set up a 4-foot level going to the wall over here and connected to it an extension on this other side to go up to the ceiling over here. So now, knowing that this is 48 inches long, going to the wall, or just about, because it's going to fall if I let go again. We have 48 inches there, and up here we have 13, 14, 15, 16 inches on this metal leg, plus, if we can see it, it is, trying to get to focus on this closer section here. We're at just about 6 1/4 inches, so we'll say 6. So we have 16 plus an additional 6 and 48 inches here on this side. So calculate out the slope, rise over run, and the length of this hypotenuse formed by this right angle. Here's another shot of it, now that I got it to stand up. So go ahead and find the slope of that line, or the hypotenuse, and its length. Again, the base is 48 inches, and the side is 16, plus an additional 6. For this next question, I went ahead and put in a ruler, a screwdriver, and the 4-foot measuring stick, if you will, the level, and I want you to calculate how tall is the opening based on the slope that you determined from the previous video. How tall is the opening at the base here? So let's go ahead and look. So here's the big rock that people have transformed into like a little cave underneath. Let's go take a look. So how tall is this opening from right here? So here's eye level for me, and it comes up quite a bit. Can't quite touch, but getting close. So what we have in here, showing that we're level. Kind of cool, huh? Alright, so way back here, I went and wedged a screwdriver. See how people litter? Went and wedged a screwdriver and the measuring tape. And to go further back to the rest, as close as I can get, so we're going to pretend that that's the start right there, because that's about level with the opening. So we have, we can try to turn this sideways here. We line up at about 15 inches from where that screwdriver and that level line up. So we have 15 inches plus the length of this measuring tape that at the opening goes to, survey says, 13 feet 7 inches. So 13 feet 7 inches plus an additional 15 inches, and at the slope that we calculated, or hopefully you calculated in that last video, find out how tall is this opening, assuming that it's the same slope all the way, which it's pretty darn close. So again, 13 feet 7 inches plus 15 more inches, and using our slope, how tall is this opening? Remember, 12 inches per foot. Well, it's lunchtime, so I made my little coffee can, tipped over some charcoal, and cooking a hot dog and some relish and buffalo ranch sauce on it. I know that food always looks best on videos from other people, so regular hot dog, but check it out. There we go, a little spiral cut. My dad always used to do, so I figured I'd spiral cut it. And then what's it look like underneath here? It's really hot. There's my charcoal. So, simple way to cook your food. I'll let this get a little bit warmer here. But if you let it sit too long, the foil will burn through from these coals. So, don't want it to get too much. So anywho, there you go. There's lunchtime from the set. I'm about done here making my math videos, but I gotta show you what's cool about this place. All these crazy rock formations. All formed by glaciers, I guess, at one point. Crazy trees, too. Here's the Most unique of them all. This skinny little rock. See if I can get back far enough to get a view of it in its entirety. There we go, pretty close. Pretty neat. All right, that's it. Thank you.